Hi there, it's Jenna Hollenstein. Wanted to follow up on my last video about why I don't recommend mindful substitutions with the promised meditation. I'm often talking about meditation and why and how it is so supportive of creating a new relationship with food and your body, but I don't think I've really offered a sample of that yet, and so I wanted to do that. And this is my little space. I'm usually facing that way. And this is a corner of our bedroom in an Upper East Side apartment in Manhattan. There will be FDR traffic, undoubtedly. This is my little gardening table that I turned into a meditation shrine with some objects that I love, not really to look at, but more as an expression of my connection with my practice and with looking at my own mind. So you don't need anything fancy, just a spot that's relatively quiet and dedicated and comfortable. You can have a cushion or some folded up pillows or blankets, or you could sit in a chair. Both are equally spiritual. If you decide to lie down because you struggle with chronic pain, that is also totally fine. When I was pregnant, I did some lying down meditation because of the level of exhaustion I was dealing with. And that helped me maintain the connection with my practice so that I still had an ongoing relationship with it. So the practice that we're going to be doing is called shamatha, which is a very simple practice of sitting, stilling the body, not clearing the mind, but placing the mind's attention on an object, which is the feeling of the breath, and holding it there as best as we can, knowing that it won't last, because nothing does. And so when our attention strays, whenever it is that we notice it, we acknowledge that and then come back. And this practice of just noticing where we are and continually coming back is why this practice of shamatha meditation is so supportive of a different relationship with food and your body, because it's all about strengthening the ability to see where you are in time and space and come back to the present moment and just do your best to take the next step with kindness and with gentleness and compassion. And I'll go into this more in subsequent videos, I'm sure. But I just want to get right to the meditation so that this is something that you can try out for yourself, and also something that you can come back to again and again if you like, in support of working with your own mind and working with your own relationship with food and your body. So I'll walk us through a practice. I'm going to be doing the practice as I give the instruction. So here we go. So take a comfortable seat, whether you're in a chair with your feet flat on the floor or sitting on a cushion with your legs crossed loosely in front of you. And really settle in. Feel your connection with your seat. Feel how it supports you. And give your weight over to it, letting the bottom half of your body be heavy, taking up as much space as you need, not trying to make yourself smaller in any way. And then let the upper part of the body feel light and uplifted. The back is straight and strong. It extends up through the back of the neck and the crown of the head. And the front body is soft and open and receptive. You might soften the belly, just let it relax. Soften the area around your heart. Relax the shoulders down your back and rest the palms of the hands on the tops of the legs in a neutral position so you're not pushing or pulling. Relax the throat. Release the jaw. Breathe normally in and out through the nose. And let the eyes be open with a soft gaze that's cast downward. Not looking at anything in particular, but taking in the full visual field. Feeling as if your awareness is expanding out toward the sides, or as if your eyeballs are relaxing back in the sockets. And the eyes are open in this practice because we're cultivating wakefulness in the midst of our sometimes crazy lives. So this is the posture for shamatha meditation, and it's mindfulness of body. In mindfulness of breath, feel your body breathing, which is different than thinking about the breath or observing the breath. It's a sensory or sensual experience of noticing the temperature of the air as it comes in through the nostrils and brushes the back of the throat, how it's slightly warmer when it comes out and dissolves into the space around you. Or you might focus on the feeling of your ribs expanding and contracting, your belly rising and falling, or just the tiny little movements of the body or your clothing against your skin. Whatever sensation is most prominent, feel it. This is mindfulness of breath. And then in the third and final aspect of mindfulness, mindfulness of mind, we let our mind's awareness ride the waves of the breath while we focus on the sensation. This is our object of our meditation, the feeling of the breath. And we stay with it as best as we can. And you might notice, just as the eyes continue to see because they're open, and the ears continue to hear because you can't close them, the mind continues to create thought, and that is perfectly okay and exactly what it should be doing. But you might notice that with most of these thoughts, you don't really need to do anything. If we don't get attached to them, they come and go on their own. So you might think of thought as being in the background, while your attention on feeling the breath is in the foreground. And if at some point you realize that your attention has strayed from the breath, that is, you've lost that sensation of the breath and followed some line of thought, that is also perfectly fine. It's that moment of noticing that is a moment of being fully awake when you say, oh, I should have been feeling my breath. Take those moments as opportunities to turn toward the thought for a moment, just to acknowledge it, and then let it go, gently and precisely, coming back to the feeling of the breath. And each time you do this, even if you have to do it 1,000,000 times, it's a chance to begin again, and nothing to worry about. So let's practice like this for just a few minutes together in silence. anytime you get lost in thought or hear some background noise that captures your imagination, just notice it, acknowledge it, let it go, and come back to the breath. Please bring your practice to a close. And take whatever time you need to bring your practice to an end. Just bringing yourself back into the room, although you never left, especially with your eyes open. And that's the practice. It's very simple and straightforward, and it's something that you can always come back to if you'd like to start exploring a practice for yourself. And I'm going to keep sending out these emails with videos, so let me know if you're finding them useful or confusing, or if you have special things that you'd like to see covered. That's it for now. See you next time.